Hello, welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new here, my name is Rachel. I'm a certified yoga instructor and I specialize in yoga for chronic pain and chronic illness. And today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the connection between trauma and chronic illness. Chronic pain too. There's a huge connection there. And for a long time, I really didn't want to acknowledge that there could even be a possibility that my physical symptoms could have any kind of psychosomatic thing going on. I felt like to admit that would be admitting that my symptoms weren't real. And so for a long time, I actually completely ignored that aspect of my health because I was so focused on the physical symptoms and getting to the bottom of the physical symptoms. And I've learned so much over the years and have realized that just because there can be a connection between your mental health and your physical health doesn't necessarily invalidate the other. So even if there are mental health connections to your physical health issues, that doesn't invalidate the physical symptoms you experience. Your physical symptoms are still just as real, still just as important and worthy of being addressed. So with this video, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm trying to tell you that your physical health concerns aren't real. They absolutely are real. The symptoms that you experience are real and they deserve to be given proper attention. But that being said, we are complex beings. We are not just physical beings, we're mental beings, we're emotional beings, we're spiritual beings, right? So we have all of these different facets of ourselves and everything is interconnected. Working online, I have had the privilege to connect with so many other people who are also living with chronic illness and chronic pain. And so many people have reached out and shared their stories with me, which I feel so honored to get to bear witness to your guys' journeys. This is just getting to connect with you guys is my favorite part of this job. And so many of you who have shared your stories with me have told me about traumas that you've experienced in your past. And this seemed to be just a very big theme in our chronic illness community that most, if not all of us, have at one point or another experienced significant trauma, myself included. And so there's that aspect going on, that even before chronic illness became a part of our lives, there was significant trauma. But then we need to acknowledge the fact that chronic illness and chronic pain in and of itself is a trauma. Chronic illness and chronic pain, they impact our lives on a daily basis, and they cause distress in our bodies on a daily basis without resolution. That's a trauma. Losing our former lives, our lives before chronic illness, losing our former selves, the self that we identified with for so long, and having to adjust to this new self-concept and this new reality, that is a trauma. Loss is a trauma. And we go through this whole grieving process with that. So I want you to be aware of that. This is no small thing. This is a traumatic thing that you've been through. This being a chronic illness warrior, being a chronic pain warrior, this is a traumatic, life-altering thing, and it's intense. So whatever feelings you feel around that are so valid and appropriate, I would say. So keep that in mind, that chronic illness in and of itself is a trauma. But then so many of us in our past, on top of that, have experienced other kinds of trauma. Car accidents, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental and emotional abuse. And all of that trauma changes the way that our bodies function. It changes our brain chemistry. It changes the way that the nervous system operates. And all of that affects the physical processes of the body. And it can create so many health issues in the body. There's a couple of books that I want to recommend to you guys. I'll put them up on the screen here, that have really helped to deepen my understanding of how our bodies work and how our brains work after experiencing trauma. And having a deeper understanding for yourself and for how your body works allows you to develop more self-compassion. So instead of thinking that like something is wrong with you because you're having certain emotions or having certain responses to certain situations or whatever the case may be, you can know that like what you're experiencing is actually totally normal and totally appropriate. So I would really recommend checking out these books, especially this book by Peter Levine. It's very short and it'll give you a deeper understanding of what's going on in your body and what you can do to start healing. So yeah, I really, with this video, wanted to bring more awareness around this subject. And if you're interested in diving deeper and learning more about this, I have an entire series called Yoga for PTSD. And it's just this huge library of yoga classes that help to address these issues, that help to address the symptoms of trauma in our mental bodies and in our physical bodies. So I'll leave more information in the description box if you would like to check that out. And I think that's all for this video. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up so it can reach more people, so we can spread awareness on this subject. And leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you guys. And I'll talk to you again soon.